We played caroms a lot in the summer. And caroms is a game like a square game with the same kind of rules as pool. Only they used little wooden pegs, little wooden circles, and you had what do you call them?
Like a shuffleboard sort of thing.
No, it wasn't shuffleboard. It was the same kind of rules as pool. Only they were on wood, and they were on wood rolls on wood, and you knocked things into the corners, and you had a not a cue ball, what do they call it, the starter or something. So that was very popular in the summer. We used to play a game in Montebello, when we later moved there, called Move. It got so hot some of those summers. And one of the games we would play is on the porch, sit on the porch with all the local kids and go, first moves is it. See? Everybody you'd have to watch everybody to see who made the first move. And then they were it. It's great when you're...
What does it mean?
It means you had to watch somebody make the next move. Okay. The whole idea of the game was it's 110 degrees outside, and you're in the shade, it's only 100, and nobody wants to move, and so there's no air conditioning. So what do? Don't move and play a game. And we used to play a game called fantasy. We didn't call it fantasy baseball, but we would pick, I had 2 or 3 friends, and we would pick, we would draft. We called it pick, but essentially draft. We'd go from the major leagues, baseball only, and we would pick from the major leagues our baseball team, including our reserves. We look at the last year's results out of the papers. Never saw any games till later, but we would pick a team, say, well, I want Luke Easter for my first baseman. And so the next day we would play a game based on the fact that how the guys did the day before. And then we beat you because my guy hit home runs and stuff, and when he got up in your pitcher, you put it, we couldn't do like fantasy baseball is. We couldn't put our pitcher in and stuff, Had to use the pitcher that was used the day before. And we played that in the summer a lot. Had a lot of fun with it. And then you ended up with the championship at the end of the year, who beat more games, who won more games, And everything was done out of the newspaper. I love to read newspapers. That's how I learned to read newspapers and comic books. So that was one of the games we played. We played roller derby. I was one of the best in the roller derby game. The block across from us in Montebello was all the way around, a sidewalk. So you could go all the way around, and it was rectangular. And so I don't know if you've ever seen roller derby and we played roller derby. And get out ahead, put your hands on your hips, and then the thing's over. Knock people down. I knocked a lot of people down because I could skate really well, and I could go skate low. And so I usually won the roller derby. And they were the clamp-on skates, We never had any shoe skates. When we lived down in, I moved from East Los Angeles to Downey. My folks bought their first house. It was a 4-room house, small kitchen, small living room, small bedroom, and bathroom. The bathroom was a little bit smaller than the other ones because they made the kitchen a little longer, but it was square. And it probably had 600 square feet.
Indoor plumbing?
Yeah.
Electricity?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
We had no walls and no appliances and no anything inside. Cement slab and the framing, and no kitchen appliances and no counter. You bought the frame of the house. That's the first time they could ever afford a house, just to be able to do that. And then my uncles would come over and install things little by little. But we never did get the wallboard put up fully. We wallboarded the bathroom and the bedroom. We slept in a what do they call those things? Bunk bed. My sister and I slept on top, and my folks slept in the bed next to us, which tells you why we never had any more brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I'm sure never. Anyway,
But then the bathroom was right there, and I used to walk in my sleep a lot and dream a lot, and I was very insecure, and so I had the same dream, always falling, and I would wake up suddenly from that. But sometimes I would be in the top of the closet. I'd somehow climb to the top of the closet in my sleep.
well, I can understand how sleeping in the top bunk would make you have dreams of falling, insecure or not.
One night I slept in my sleep and walked right off the top of onto my folks' bed. When I was real little, I don't remember this at all. My folks, I in East Los Angeles, my mother told me the story. She'd go to work and my dad would be home, or my dad would go to work and she'd be home. And I was the only child at the time. And I always slept on the couch because there was only one room, one bedroom. It was a rented house in East Los Angeles. And Dad came home and I was there. We were going to switch when Mom came home and I wasn't there. And they didn't know what to do. And so they looked all around and there was nobody there. And this is the middle of the night now, 11 o'clock at night, and I was gone. And they called the police, and they said, well, does he have blonde hair, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is before my knowledge, so it had been 2 years old or something like that. And we said, yes, and she said, well, we have him right here. We found him 11 blocks from where you live, sleeping at night in East Los Angeles, walking in my sleep, at 2 years old. Imagine your kids walking any place, the next door neighbor. And I didn't want to go home, my mom said, because they were giving me ice cream all I wanted at midnight. But that was my sleepwalking. Anyway.
Do you have any personal memories with your parents when you were small? You know, a positive memory of doing something with a parent?
The closest thing I had to a positive memory with my dad was going to work with him in 2 different ways. He used to sell jewelry products, which is, you brought a catalog into their home, and they'd fill out an order of grocery products and anything else. Like I've got a picture in there that was a jewelry picture that we had since I was a little kid. My mom gave me. Have you seen that picture that I had with the?
Probably.
Yeah, with the thing on the head. So jewelry products was big, and my dad sold jewelry products, and I would go with him if there was not a school day or something like that once in a while. That way, Mom didn't have as much to deal with, you know. It was kind of boring, and after a while, I didn't want to even go in the house because he was very gregarious he liked the women. My dad was very much a womanizer. And so he liked to go in and talk with the women, and when are we going to the next place? That was one of them. And the other one was riding the bus when I was older, when he was driving the bus, and we drove to Santa Barbara from downtown Los Angeles, which is where he was out of. And we went down the grade in a Greyhound bus, and the old grade that went, and I remember that. I was about 10, 11 years old, and they just had a earthquake in Santa Barbara, and the big buildings downtown were all cracked and stuff.
Now,